Well, we are just a day away from the 2015 NBA Draft airing Thursday at 7 p.m. on ESPN. And in celebration of the big event, we've had different themes going all week long. Today is no different. So we're going to debate our current all-NFL draft, where the analysts will select their top 5 out of all current NFL players available. George, we'll start with you. Who's in your top 5?
All right. It is a quarterback league, so I am quarterback heavy on my list. And I start off with, as Stephen A. Smith would say, that bad man Aaron Rodgers. He is the best player in football, bar none. It isn't even close. He does stuff at the quarterback position that I don't think I've ever seen anyone do. Then Tom Brady. You got to give respect to the man who won the Super Bowl and won all those Super Bowls, despite the fact he's in the basement at 345 Park Avenue for 10 hours yesterday. Then Andrew Luck. He is the next coming. He is the guy that I look at and I say he is going to be one of the all-time greats. Then I got to give an homage to Peyton Manning, considering all he's done, one of the greatest statistical quarterbacks ever, and it's still got some juice left in the tank. And I'll give defense a little love, but it's not J.J. Watt. And I know people get mad, and I really was torn on this.
Wow.
Do I go J.J. Watt? But I got to go with Revis Island. Darrelle Revis was the reason, as big a reason as any, that the Patriots won that Super Bowl. He is the chess piece that you can move around and changes the dynamic on a football field. I believe as impactful as any defensive player there is in the NFL.
Even more than Sherman?
More than Sherman, because he can move on any side and on anyone. As much as I love Richard Sherman, Richard, I love you. Don't get mad at me. Don't come on the show and yell at me like you did Skip. Please don't do that. I love you. You're my number 2 guy. Okay?
You don't love him that much.
But I don't love him as much as Revis, but I love him. But Revis is still my guy at number 5.
All right, that's quarterback heavy right there. All right, LaChina.
Well, I'm going with the youth movement because I think there are some young guys that are going to be very special, and I'm looking at the future for years to come. I'm starting with Andrew Luck. Here's a young man that had a lot of pressure on him following Peyton Manning. 2 wins the year before he got there. He led the NFL in touchdown passes last season with 40. His leadership, he's more mobile than people give him credit for. I'm going with him first. And then J.J. Watt. How can you leave J.J. off the list? If we're saying that this is a quarterback league, which I agree with, you've got to have a guy that can put pressure on him. Offensive coordinators have to prepare for Watt. He will get after the ball. And then Luke Kuechly. 473 tackles since entering the NFL. That number alone should tell you that this guy can get to you and he can take you down. Then I've got Tyron Smith. Now, this is where I may get some funny looks. But he protects Tony Romo's blind side very well. You have got to have a guy in your O-line that can clear some space, that can get you some time. I think that's extremely important, going with the fact that this is a quarterback-driven league. Last but not least, I'm going with Russell Wilson. Already been to 2 Super Bowls. He's a proven leader. What he's done in the fourth quarter, late in games, is unbelievable. He never gives up. He unites a team. Now, the one thing people may say, he can't take his defense with him in this mock draft. That's the one thing. So that winning percentage, you've got to take defense into consideration. But Russell Wilson has got to go 5 in mine. And not to mention, see, because I've been watching the show, and y'all been talking about who's dating who. Russell and Sierra. What? That is a power couple.
That's why I'll take him off the list.
Aaron Rodgers dating Olivia Munn.
Again, why he didn't make my list.
Hey, you haven't seen Sierra's moves.
Yeah. My next question, very well balanced, but you're going to take Russell Wilson over the reigning MVP Aaron Rodgers. Why? Just the age?
Youth was a factor. Yes. I'm looking at a dynasty for years to come.
Okay. Stephen A. is somewhere appalled that you didn't put Aaron Rodgers on that list.
See, I went about this a little bit different. I did it as a GM. I did this. If I'm a GM and I'm picking my team right now, I'm starting one with youth, and it is a quarterback-driven league, Andrew Luck. He's the one that you want to be the solid foundation, and you want a guy that's going to be there for years to come, who knows how to win right now. Yes, he doesn't have the Super Bowl resume. Yes, he doesn't have the numbers that Aaron Rodgers has put up. But guess what? I can leave him there at quarterback, and in 5 or 6 years, he's going to have those numbers and make me look great. Number 2, people talk about how now the running back isn't worth what they used to be worth until you don't have a running back. I'm taking LaShawn McCoy. The versatility that this man has shown out of the backfield is unlike anybody else in the league. The numbers that he has put up when he played with the Philadelphia Eagles was phenomenal. And the stuff that he could do out of the backfield, including blocking, was really good. Now, if you got a quarterback and you got a running back, you need an outside threat and someone that's going to scare somebody. Someone who's young. Hello, Odell Beckham. Hello, Odell Beckham.
He was on my honorable mention list.
Yeah, well, I'm drafting him because I want somebody. The reason that running backs can do what they do is because the defense has to be aware of the dude that's going to burn them deep. That's Odell Beckham. And, oh, yeah, stick 'em hands. You know, which, you know, this year, after every game, we're going to need to check your gloves just to make sure they're all good. Now, let's flip to the defensive side. J.J. Watt. How you don't have J.J. Watt is amazing. Because
how many games the Texans win because of J.J. Watt?
I'm not. J.J.'s not playing for the Texans. He's playing for me. And guess what else he's going to be doing? Tight end when goal line situations come in on offense. Because that man's going to catch me some touchdowns too. We're going to win games because he's going to block passes, intercept passes, run passes back for touchdowns, sack the quarterback, and catch touchdowns. He's going to do everything for me. But the fifth guy is the guy who's got to be the anchor on the defense, and that's the guy who plugs the middle up so that other teams can't run, and Ndamukong Suh. And Ndamukong Suh and J.J. Watt anchor any defense that you have them on. You might say it's great to have a defensive back, but guess what? You don't need Revis Island if your quarterback doesn't have time to throw. And that's what these two guys will give you on defense.
Well, look, the Patriots don't necessarily have a great defensive front, and Darrelle Revis made their defense what it was. So if you've got a special guy like that, he absolutely deserves to be on the list.
J.J. Watt's got to be in there. Come on now.
How many guys can Revis cover?
I mean,
because if you got two wide receivers,
Revis can cover almost anybody that runs a pattern. That's for sure.
Right, but he's not covering the left and the right, so I haven't seen him clone.
No, he absolutely.
You clone Darrelle Revis and got two guys?
Not at the same time.
Exactly.
But he shuts down one side of the field.
That's fine, but all I need is two good wide receivers. Give me a good slot receiver. You can have, you know what? Shut my fast guy down.
So you'd rather, and Odell Beckham would be in my top 5 wide receivers, but you'd have him over Calvin Johnson or Des Bryant?
Ooh.
Odell?
Great question.
Again, upside. I'm drafting the team right now, and you're talking about a guy who's 22 years old.
Yeah, I think Des Bryant.
Give me the 22-year-old. Give me the 22-year-old that his first time ran a 4.28.
Yeah.
But the thing about J.J. Watt is the tips and deflections, like you mentioned. First of all, you got to
he's great.
You got to commit a guy and a
great.
half, 2 guys to him to keep him under control. It's the tips and deflections. What he gets his hands on, he disrupted. He knows what's going to happen before you know it's going to happen, and gets there. And not to mention, come on, he's got some good personality too. It takes two. He showed us he's got some moves. He's marketable.
Yeah.
Which is why I love Richard Sherman. As much as you love Darrelle Revis, I love Richard Sherman because he brings.
You love him so much you didn't put him on your list.
Hey, I didn't put Revis on my list either. But also, Richard Sherman's not going to yell at me because I didn't put a cornerback in front of him.
Look at what Revis did not only this year, but he dragged Mark Sanchez to 2 AFC title games. Him and that Jets defense.
How much more, if you're drafting him right now, how much more time do you think he has?
No, but are we talking about the future? I'm talking about we got to win today. That's my team if we got to win
These
today.
two are planning
But
ahead.
when you think about draft,
You guys are worrying about the future. I'm worried about winning this year.
we're thinking about longevity. You know, we're thinking about guys that can get in, that are healthy, that got that bounce. I mean, we've seen it across sport in general. Look at Golden State. They just had, I mean, that youth factor was something else down the stretch.
See, you as a GM building your team, if they don't win this year, you fired. Me as a GM building the team, I got 3 years.
Why am I built? Well, I got 4 quarterbacks.
That's why you fired fast.
In football, you have a shorter lifespan because of injuries and all of that. So I think you have to think about youth.
All right. Well, now that we've heard our panel's list of top 5 guys they would draft today, here's your chance to give yours. Go on Twitter and send your list using the hashtag AllNFLDraftTop5. And tomorrow on the show, First Take, we'll continue our draft theme week. We'll pick our current All-NBA Draft Top 5. Will anyone be taking over LeBron? Find out on Thursday.